Yesterday, on of the Rebbe's 121st birthday, we started reciting, I should say, the 122nd chapter of the Tehillim of the Psalms. I invite you, join me now because it is such a magnificent psalm. All talks about Jerusalem, about the peace in Jerusalem, about the well-being of Jerusalem. All of us joining in Jerusalem. So please, I ask you, join me. Shir HaMalos LeDavid. Somachti b'oim udi beis Adonai nelech. Oim des hoyragdeni b'shorayich Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim abenu yokir shechubro leyardov. Sheshom al hashvatim shiftu yo edes leYisrael. Loidois l'shem Adonai. Yishom yosh v'chisas lemishpot. Ki yisais lebeis David. Shalu shlom Yerushalayim. Yishloyu oy havoyich. Yisholem b'chelech shalva b'manesoyich. Leman achai v'rei yadabro shol. Adabro no sholom boch. Beis Adonai Eloheinu abaksho. Toiv loch. As you notice, I'm recording outside. I'm speaking to you from outside. The reason, very simple. I was invited to leave the house because the house has to be cleaned for Pesach. The room where I usually do my recording has to be cleaned for Pesach. So thank God we have the outside where we can talk to each other. But I want to ask you a question. What's this obsession, I would say, with a speck of chametz? A tiny speck of leavened bread is the end of the world. We don't find it within any other prohibition that we're concerned even with a tiny, tiny speck of something non-kosher. Obviously, we're not supposed to eat it, but we have this concept something could be nullified in 60 or in 1,000 chametz. Nada. Not even a speck. So you know what? It's all in one letter. And for that matter, in a tiny speck of a letter. The forbidden food on Pesach is called chometz. The food that we're supposed to eat is matzah. How do we spell chometz and how do we spell matzah? Chometz is spelled ches, mem, tzadik. Matzah is spelled mem, tzadik, hey. So the mem and the tzadik, both words have it. The chometz has the letter ches, and the matzah has the letter hey. I'm sure you remember those letters are very similar. A ches is two lines going up and a line going, closing it in. The hey has one line going up, a straight line going down, and then there's a tiny opening and then a little foot closing the letter. So the chametz is completely, the ches is the letter which is completely closed. The hey is similar, but it has a tiny opening. That little opening, that little speck, if you want, which is open, makes the entire difference. What is chametz? How does it become chametz? How does it become leavened? When the ingredients are basically the same, flour and water. But in the leavened bread, you take flour and water, you mix it, and you let it rise. You let it lie, do nothing. Whereby the matzah is constantly worked. What it represents is, the ches, the chametz represent self-importance. Legend in my own mind. Closed in my own self. Closed in my own ego. Closed in my own comfort zone. I don't allow myself an opportunity, a chance to go out of me. It's all about me. The hay has an opening. The hay represents, I want to go out of my own self. I want to seek something else but me. So the chametz bloats up. The matzah is flat. While the chametz represents self-importance, the matzah represents humility, reality, real substance. And where the chametz represents bloated ego. If we want, not if, since we want to experience freedom, we have to be able to go out of our own self. We have to be able to go out of our own comfort zone and allow some light to pierce in my enclosed area and allow a little place for me to go out. And that's why even a tiny speck, it closes it. We can't go out. So matzah represents freedom. Matzah represents redemption. Please God, it's before Pesach, but we're ready for the matzah right now, for that ultimate redemption with Mashiach.